Hey, everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. It's TLC Tuesday. Kimberly and I are here with another fun episode for your ears. Kimberly looks great. I just got out of the shower. I woke up at 5 this morning, and that's my excuse. I was like, I can't, there will be no makeup.
I
Just no.
think you look great. Um,
I appreciate that.
you know, Katie and I have been trying to do video, and every time after she's like, "Wait, did you have the touch up my appearance clicked?" And I said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, of course. Mary Payne puts it on, so I put it on." And
yeah.
she's like, "You're cheating." And she's like, "One person can't have the touch up your appearance and the other person doesn't know." And I said, "You can touch up your appearance. I'm not stopping you from clicking touch up your appearance. Just because I clicked it doesn't mean that you can't click it."
It's
Was I supposed to
fine.
tell you that I clicked it?
Maybe so. Maybe she wanted to be warned that you were
But
touching.
she's
I
the one who knows
always do it.
about makeup and lighting and all of that stuff, so I figured she'd be the one that was touching up her appearance.
Yeah.
I'm just learning at 45 to put makeup on, and so I need touch up your appearance,
Yeah.
and she got so mad, she's like, "That's cheating. If one person does it, it's an unlevel playing field."
Katie, don't be so insecure. Jeez.
Really? Well, you look
Um,
gorgeous.
she's full makeup all day, every day.
All day, every day. Yeah,
So give us a break for us gals who don't like to put it on, you
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
No, I always do touch up my appearance, and I'll tell people too if like they've never been on it. I'm like, you can click the settings. I go, if you want to, you don't have to. When I
Yeah.
recorded with John Hill last week, he was like, I did it, but then I felt it's too much. And
It
I go, well, I'm 10 years older than you, so it's not too much for me.
it's not too much.
He felt like he was too blurred. I was like, I'll make it like I look like Voldemort. I'll have no nose. I don't care.
I don't think there's levels on here though, right? Of how much you can touch your appearance. You just click it, right?
No, you can go I go subtle, and then you can go to, like,
I
extreme.
don't have that option. I just have
As a guest, you don't
touch
have the option? Let's see.
I just have touch up my appearance.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, and
mine
I don't even have it clicked right now. Now I'm clicking it. Oh, you're right. Okay, I see the bar. You're so right.
it goes
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
so if you're watching
Strong.
on video, I put it on very strong, and my face is so blurry.
Oh my God.
Look
Very
how
strong. My nose is gone.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
no nose.
yeah.
How do I
See,
breathe?
I do
Or if I
one
go very subtle.
I go subtle. There's very subtle, and then I go to subtle, so I go to the second one.
I'm gonna
Just
stick with moderate because all things in moderation,
mm,
including filters
okay.
and
Well,
chocolate
for me, it really just
chips.
helps not for my eye bags not to look completely purple.
Yeah,
That is really what it helps. Otherwise, it doesn't like, like some of those TikTok filters like fully put your makeup on for you. And you're
yeah,
like, why would anybody ever leave the house? You just have the
I know,
filter, put your makeup on for you.
I know.
So guys, if you're watching on video, you got to see that little fun. But yeah, no, we had to get up so early this morning for our flight, and thank the Lord, because half the time it's delayed. Or even I even heard the ladies at Dunkin' Donuts in the airport going, that American flight's not even delayed today. I mean, I think it's literally delayed every day. So we have been, knock on wood, very lucky with our flying where we
Are
haven't
you
had like
almost done with your flights around the world this season of travel?
I have another flight. So I'll be driving to the beach on Wednesday, then I'll be there. And then from the beach, I'm leaving the beach and flying to New York for that party
Yes.
that I invited you to. And
Yeah, that was so nice, by the
and
way.
flying back to the beach. And then that's it for flying. No more flying.
Remember when never I'm not gonna
Stop.
keep bringing it up.
Don't bring it up again. Don't bring it up again. You can still
I
come to
think I
the
brought it
party.
up with Matt Maher.
You did.
Did I?
You did. You did. He travels all the time too, so he's got no room to talk. Did you, you can still come to the party. It's next Monday. It's a week from today when we're recording it. It's just a short flight from LA to New York.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a hop skip.
Yeah.
You could go in like Delta One, you could lay down,
Oh, I would love that so much.
get a hotel room by yourself. I'll tell you where we're staying.
Get
I
away
won't
from
keep
these old people that I babysit for all day long.
yeah. If you want
Oh
to, let
my
me know. I can
god.
tell you where we're staying. I'm just staying like 2 nights and heading right back.
Ugh. Okay, I'll think about it for a
Okay,
second.
think about it. Think about it for a second. But we're not here to talk about that. I will tell you, so last night, was just telling you this, that so we were packing last night, and I just wanted to put on the screener for this so that when I sat down to take my notes today, I would just be like ready to streamline it. And so my husband was in there packing too, really cramping my style. And I said, I'm going to watch this. You when you put my AirPods in, because I'm just going to walk around and pack while I listen. And he said, "Oh, no, I don't care. I'll listen to it. I don't know, what is it?" And I said, "It's 90 Day." Okay. So we started watching it, and I said, "It's interesting. There are 3 couples on this season that I have a geographical, connection with."
Mhm.
So there's Maddie and Stevie because they came on first, and I was like, she lives in Hattiesburg. They're about to be in New Orleans, and he's from Iran. And then because he was like, "Why does he care so much about boobs?" I was like, "He's Persian." It's not he doesn't know about the boobs in his culture. He doesn't like to
Yeah,
see it. And Dave's like, "Huh, you just don't hear a guy that much being like, 'I'm gonna be so upset if I have to look at boobs.'" It's like, yeah.
he's
And then I said,
completely unfamiliar with this show.
he's
Just one of the people is a fish out of water, and that is the whole premise of the show.
he does know about Gino and Jasmine though, because sometimes he's dropped in and been like, "God, they've been on this show forever."
Yeah,
You know? I'm like, "Well, this is their 15th show to be on."
yeah.
And so then there's Mina and Mark, of course, because Mark's brother lives on Bald Head Island. And then the other connection was, what was the other I gave him 3. I gave him 3. Oh, it's that, Jessica and Juan live in Torrington, where my nephew lived there for, like, the last 2
Yes.
years, and he just moved, actually.
Poop Town. Yeah,
Pooptown, USA.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, that is
With your
interesting." He
very
goes,
good-looking cousin, right? Or nephew?
"He's my
Cousin?
very good-looking nephew."
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he lives in
Mhm.
Carbondale. Is it
Oh,
in Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, Nebraska? Unclear,
no
unclear.
idea. Our
Mm-mm.
last episode was about the Idaho 4, that were
Yeah,
murdered,
yeah,
and the killer, alleged killer, he hasn't been convicted yet, lived in Washington, and for me to wrap my me, geographically challenged, don't could not
totally.
name. I can't pick out the states on a map, like those games, like
Same, same,
where you I can't do it.
same.
Um, the fact that Idaho is close enough to drive to from Washington
It was
still
confu
blows my mind.
it was confusing to you. But isn't Washington, and again, this is the blind leading the blind. Washington's over here on the coast, like, above California, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And this in Idaho, if you're
above
looking at
Oregon, yeah, which
above
is above
Oregon,
California.
and Oregon also has a beautiful coast. And then
Yes,
if you're looking at that, you look to the right. Isn't Idaho to the right? So you could drive from
yeah,
Idaho,
that's
go
where
left.
the tippy, the narrow part of Idaho, the part
Well,
that's like
okay,
the
don't
little
don't
thin part
yeah,
touches Washington, I think.
don't
Maybe
make me
all of it does, I don't know, I could be talking out my
no,
butt.
no, no, I have no idea. That was another thing I texted you and Katie. Katie responded, you didn't, but you get a pass. Um, that on Friday night when we flew in on Friday night and we got to my sister's
Mhm.
condo. And normally, like when we get to Oxford, Mississippi, it's such a fun town where I was like, let's go to dinner, let's go to the square, let's go shopping. David and I just looked at each other and I was like, do you just want to get like Uber Eats? He's like, perfect. So
Yes.
ordered Uber Eats and watched Dateline. I told him,
Oh,
I said,
fun.
"Dateline is starting at 8 o'clock," which is we're Central Time. I said, "Dateline is starting at 8 o'clock. There will be no talking. It's about Bryan Kohberger, and I'm
Mhm.
watching the whole thing. And
Yeah,
I wanna watch the whole thing." And because semi-expert on that case and the Karen
yeah.
Reed. And he goes,
Mhm.
"Okay, is this the guy that, like, killed the 4 students?" I go, "Yeah, that's
Okay,
number
he
that's
knows.
but that's the only question he was allowed."
Mhm.
I said, "You may ask questions at the commercial break. Otherwise, don't talk." And he did. He sat right there.
That's
We
a
just sat.
perfect date night for
We
me.
just
Yeah.
we each sat in our own chairs with our own individual pizzas.
I love it. Oh,
We
like, individual no sharing. You
no
don't have to
sharing.
monitor how much you're gonna eat of the
Mm-mm,
pizza.
mm-mm.
I love this.
At
This is
one point, he
ideal.
did ask to borrow my knife, and I was like, "Get your own knife." But
Get
it's
your
okay. But I didn't. I let him borrow my knife to cut his pizza. But we watched the whole thing. It was really good. So I'm very much looking forward to, your episode. I had texted you guys. I go, "I'm watching this. I can't wait for your episode." Katie gave
I
it a
think I
heart.
put a heart, yeah, which
Did
I
you?
now am able to do on Android, which I
Oh,
think that
really?
we weren't able to do that for a long time, I think, or at least I didn't know how, but now I use it very unsparingly. Liberally. I just go, "Heart!" Exclamation point.
Do
I'm just
you? I'm
respond
looking right now.
everybody.
I'm looking right now because, I thought that when an Android liked something, it would literally say, "Kimberly liked your" it would just say, "Kimberly
That's
liked
how
it."
we used to receive
Okay.
emotions, expressions, whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
emoticons. When it would say Mary Payne emphasized what you just
Yes.
said. Mary
Okay.
Payne liked what you just said. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
that was really annoying because they would each come through as separate texts. So if you're on a group text, it would just be like, "This is so and so emphasized. This is so and so
Yeah,
like.
right,
This
right.
is so
Yes.
and so laughed at it," and it would drive you bonkers.
Okay, I am seeing that I have a laughing face from you,
Uh-huh.
and I'm seeing a thumbs up from you.
Uh-huh.
I'm
But you
feeling
didn't get separate texts, so it wasn't annoying,
no, no,
right?
it did it on the thing. It gave me that
Right.
this is a brand new step in our
You
relationship.
know what? I feel like this is like, the black and white cookie. It's like people coming together.
Mhm.
It's a time for unity, and androids and apples should not be at war with each other.
I
We
agree.
should we
I
should
agree.
embrace and just happily emphasize and like each other's posts.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, well, I'll yeah, but
beautiful.
um, you are so not full of personality on texting that I don't know what you're going to say to give me to do, an emoji, but maybe later today you'll surprise me and I'll be able to heart it or like it. But generally, you're a one-word answer kinda gal on the texting.
Sorry.
We've discussed it many times. It's not gonna
Sure.
change.
I say, "Sure." Okay.
"Hey, what ti would you like to record at 4? Does that work for you?" "Sure. It's fine. It works. It's fine." I hear it as, "Sure. I don't know. Whatever." That's how I hear it.
Okay.
And
I'll work
because
on it.
if you're trying to go, "Sure, that's great," then you would just do like, "Sure!"
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point,
Yeah, happy face or
or
something.
"Sounds good." Thumbs
Oh,
up.
sounds good, thumbs up, okay.
Yeah,
But isn't
uh-huh.
thumbs up like a F you? Isn't that what was from
The
the Real Housewives?
the whole Real Housewives of Salt Lake City said that, but I've never seen any indication anywhere else in the world except for on that show that thumbs up means "fuck you."
Yeah. I think it would be a very specific situation if you were
I
already in a
do.
tenuous relationship with that person, that
Yeah.
then a thumbs up could mean that. But in a normal relationship, I feel like it doesn't mean that.
I've never heard that in my life, or I'm saying it, like, constantly to my parents because 'cause they'll be like, "When are you coming over? 3 o'clock?" I'm like, "Yep, thumbs up, here I
Yep.
come." Oh my gosh, this is boring. Okay, let's talk
Okay.
about our show,
Sorry,
probably.
everybody, if you're
It's
still
okay.
listening.
Probably also boring, but we'll see. Season 11, episode 13, Love by Any Other Name. A rose by any other name does not smell as sweet. So, Love by
Mhm.
Any Other Name, we got Shekinah and Sarper. So, we start off with these 2 on a hike. She's got in her light contacts, and it always takes me
Yeah.
a couple of minutes to be like, "What is different?" And then I'm like, "Oh,
Mhm.
her eyes are blue for no reason." Yeah,
Mhm. Is it
very
by
interesting.
mood? I wonder why she does it sometimes and doesn't she puts in her, like, "I'm feeling light blue today"
I
eyes.
don't
And
know. I've just recently got some new contacts, and I told the person that the contacts that I had like a yellow tint, so they made my eyes look green. And she goes, "Yeah, a lot of the contacts company will put that tint on them so you can make sure you see them in the little contact case or
yeah.
whatever." I said, "Well, in the last year, people, including my father, have said, 'I never realized how green your eyes are.'" It's like, "Well, that's because they're blue."
Yeah.
Um, and so I was like, "I don't like it." And she says, "Yeah, she said, "We have one person working here who wears those, like, blue contacts." And she goes, "It is very jarring,
Jolting. Yeah.
jolting when you see it."
Yeah. Mhm.
Just because Shekinah and all her talking heads has dark brown eyes.
Yeah, it's startling.
And she decided to go on a hike and put in her blue contacts?
Listen, the things she wears on a hike is not something I would wear to the Met Gala. So, sh we're living different lives anyway.
That's a good point. She was in a really little top to go on this hike.
Her boobs are, like, just up and alert
Always,
at alert, at attention,
always.
and it's like a shelf that you could set something on, and
Yeah.
then, like, the tightest and, like, the full face of makeup and
Look,
the
my
just
face is just so sweaty whenever I see them. They're out in
yeah,
that California sun with that full face of makeup.
yeah.
Like, I
It
can't even
is
put on a half a face of makeup to be on camera here.
yeah,
Imagine, yeah.
I don't understand.
So, he's saying, "Well, we did the reset. We had the makeup sex in the middle of the night." And he's telling all about it, how he was like a wolf and he stalked his prey and, all these things. And he says, "Our chemistry, 1 in a million." 1 in a million is phrase of the week for Sarper. He said it
1 in a
twice last
million.
week and he says it twice this week. He says, once we get our chemistry back in line, it helps us think more rationally so we don't fight. And she goes, "I mean, okay, that's fine, babe. But if you're stressed, it doesn't mean you can take it out on me. And, the way you treat me, if you act rude, is going to be how I'm going to treat you back." And he says, "It's my mistake. I forgot. I was forgetting myself. I should have told you I was feeling anxious and depressed. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you." And then he says to her, "Touch me. It's electric. Boogie,
Touch
boogie,
this Ken
boogie."
doll chest.
Did you find it odd? Because he's like, "Touch my chest. You like it, right? Touch it. Touch it."
I think he thinks that this magnetism that he has, it literally is electric. Like you would touch him and be like, "Ooh, I just got a
Yeah.
spark. Woo." So, and it's like it'll draw her in. Like I think literally think he thinks it's magnetic. Like it will
Or it's like some sort of pheromone thing that's attracting
yeah, it
her. So
goes seeps through her fingers,
if he
like some
stalks
sort of
upstairs in the night,
herbal
yeah.
patch that you put on your skin, and it seeps into her fingers and, like, makes her horny and happy. Um,
It kinda works though,
also it does seem to work. She does seem to find him charming. Does she ever make mistakes, though? Has she ever apologized for anything? I've been getting a little sick of it always being Sarper's fault.
Has she ever apologized for anything? Hmm. Let me get back to you on that because I can't think of something off the top of my head.
Yeah. Maybe she's never done anything wrong, except she does in this episode. So,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's telling her, "You can touch me, it's electric. Touch me. You like my chest." No. And she's in the talking head, she says, no, he says, "If you touch me, it's electric. And maybe when you do that, then you don't act like a bitch. See, you're smiling." She goes, "I'm smiling because you just called me a bitch." In the talking head, he says, I do worry it's always going to be something. Like it's always going to be something he has to fix. And if he doesn't improve, I don't know if I'm going to marry him. Like good sex is not reason enough to get married. Now, my husband's listening to all this. He's like, "Do they show these people like having sex on camera?" I said, "No, it's just implied that they're like super sexual." He goes,
what kind
"Pro-
of show does he think you're watching?
I don't know." He goes, "Probably they're not super sexual because they talk about it so much." I go,
Yeah.
"That's a good point. That's a good point."
You should ask Dave what does he think about the 2,500? Like, does he think that's an accurate number if he talks about it this much? Is it
Um,
actually 100?
well, Dave is so nerdy. He would probably be like, "Hold on, let's do the math. Okay, now how old is he? Okay, let's say he's been banging since he was what do you think? 17? No,
Ye
19? Okay. So that would be 2 girls a day for 4. I mean, he would
yeah.
and I
I
think
think we did
we've
that,
done it.
actually. We did that, yeah.
It worked out, I think, that
I
he could have
think
done it.
it's possible.
No
It's just
STDs though,
like,
that's
the
question.
thing that makes I don't know any women that would sleep with him. And so it's hard for me to imagine that there are
Hmm.
that many women that would find him attractive and sleep with him, but
That's a good one. I'm trying to think if I'm just thinking like back in my day, back in my
you're
younger
like, "Okay, I'm
days.
not in my 20s anymore." Yeah,
Uh,
so and I'm not, like, at the clubs hanging out or at you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so maybe let us know. I need to hear from some Turkish women who
Yeah. Oh, but
I wanna hear from the Turkish women. There have to be ones out there that are willing to speak up that did sleep with him. There are over 2,000 of you. We want to hear your voices. Make your voices heard. Let us know, did it really happen?
don't you think a good percent of these women were from out of town? Because he found
Tourists.
her he found her on
That's a really good point.
Bumble or
I w
whatever. He was
I always
international.
think he would be very good with the MILFs. Well,
Mm,
Shekinah's a MILF, but,
uh-huh.
like, people in town on a divorcee trip who are
Yes.
partying it up with their
Yes.
gals and
Yes.
woohooing like they're in
Mhm.
their 20s, but they're
He would kill
actually in
it.
their
Mm,
40s. He
mhm.
would slay with those women. So maybe they don't wanna come forward because they're embarrassed.
Right. At
You
this
don't need
point,
to be
I would
embarrassed.
just be like, "I'll own it." Yeah.
Yeah, just own it.
Um, so all right. So now we see the next scene is she's setting up her new office space and she's wearing a blonde wig, which looks really good on her actually.
Yeah,
Love that.
I do prefer the bob that she has, the new bob in the talking head.
A little darker. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a
So
good
she's
cut
wearing
for
this
her.
blonde wig and she's setting it up. It says Fluorescent Skin is the name of her business. And that's good branding. Now we know what it's called.
Mhm.
Her
Mhm.
handyman, Daniel, with a neck tattoo, is there helping her. And she says, I'm just moving my, into a real office suite, trying to get my home back like it was because we just need to get back to some normalcy. Like when I was in Turkey, we would wake up in the morning, he would play his online chess game and I would make his coffee. And like we should have that in my house, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they couldn't even make coffee, right?
No,
Because
they're
of the
not allowed to
smell.
because it would smell. Yeah. So Sarper arrives. It was so staged, in my opinion. And he walks in, he's like, "Hello, I am Sarper. I am entering the door now." And what are you looking at? You're making the worst
Sorry,
face.
her website,
Oh, okay.
this photo of her on the front page of her website has got to be replaced.
I'd like to see it, please. Please hold it up to the camera for the people. I think it's good. Why don't you like it?
Well, the boobs I don't like.
Well, she lives in LA and she's an esthetician. What do you think?
Is that her current nose or is that the former nose?
No, I think that's the new nose.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she looks great in that picture.
Okay.
She looks like a business lady with her boobs out. What do you mean?
It's just lady rocking her boobs out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't mind the boobs. I just think that this is not the most flattering angle of the boobs.
Oh, okay. Well, they are giant knockers. So
Yeah.
she is a
Oh,
she is a tiny little person,
yeah. Yeah.
like Jasmine with
Oh,
tiny.
brow lamination, $75.
Oh,
80-minute custom facial, $350.
yeah,
Is that a
yeah.
good price?
No, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
I just got
Virtual consultation, $75 on sale from $150.
well, she's trying to use that. She's trying to
Just a
use
virtual
that fame.
consultation.
She's trying to use
Yeah.
that fame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I just had like an 80-minute facial but I had dermaplaning with it. And oh no, it was a dermaplaning plus a regular facial. So it was like 80 minutes total. And I think it wasn't $300 total.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But it's in LA and she's got to pay for that office space. So and
Yeah.
she's got to pay for her boyfriend who doesn't have a job. So
He's teaching those classes.
laugh aerobics.
Yeah.
Lift your
And
leg. Ha ha ha. That's what he does. So, all right. So Sarper arrives in a fake scene and he is the whole time like he keeps looking over at Daniel and looking him up and down. And then Daniel look at him and he looks away. It's very Three's Company.
yeah.
And Sarper says, after Daniel leaves, he's like questioning him, like, why is he a good looking guy? And he goes, "You told me he was handyman." She goes, "Yeah, he's my handyman. He's been doing stuff for me for years." And he's like, "In Turkey, handyman is sweaty, chubby guy." And she goes, "Okay, well, we're in LA, babe. Like, everybody's attractive." Okay. He's like, "You think he's attractive?" She's like, "I don't know. You said he was attractive." So she goes, "Oh my God, you've got to leave me alone. Like, do you see I'm wearing this wig? Because the stress of being with you is making my hair fall out." Now it's interesting because Bunky Lindsay, who's our hair bunky,
Yeah.
that's her expertise, that's her profession.
Yeah.
She sent me last week a screenshot of Shekinah and said you could tell her hair is all falling out. And because she showed me like a picture, she said because and it's all around the hairline. She goes, it's got to 100% be because of that weird diet they're on, where all they eat is like butter
The
and beef.
butter.
Mhm.
Yes. Which we haven't really focused on this season, where there have been no scenes of them just eating butter as they're talking.
No,
Casual butter eating.
but she said that it whatever that name of that diet is, she said what it was. She said that that totally happens with people on that diet. Their hair just fall out. This is
You
so
know what she
unhealthy.
needs? Nutrafol.
She needs Nutrafol. She needs an eye restore hair helmet. I've got to give mine to Amy Archer. I'm going to send mine to her. She wants it.
But also, maybe it's being on the show because also Jasmine suffered from hair loss.
Yeah.
The men
That's
on this
right.
show are just driving these women
Yes,
bald.
that's Jess driving the women bald. Um, So he is still stuck on she's telling him about the wig and everything. He's like, "Okay, but back to me." He says, "You know, in Turkey, we have a phrase, handyman fork." And she goes, I don't think handyman fork is a phrase. Like, nobody knows what you're talking about." And he goes, "'Cause a handyman, for some reason, he wears no belt. He bends over. You can see his fork. I think here you" she was like, "It's called a crack." He goes, "Here you call crack. If you see the fork, good handyman. But he can't come to your house and show you his fork." She's like,
Isn't
"Oh
that
my God,
funny?
babe. Nobody
Because
knows
here
what you're
we have
talking about."
plumber's crack.
Right.
So, really, cultures coming together. We're the same but different, but it's basically the same.
What we can agree on is for some reason, plumbers and handymen always show us their crack.
Yeah.
That's what
It's
we can
because
agree
their
on.
belts are so heavy with those tools.
Or like he said, if they don't wear a belt and their pants fall down, it's probably like they don't wanna wear a belt because they do have to bend down a lot and they don't wanna
Yeah.
constrict their movements.
Yeah.
So, anyway, handyman fork. And so she says, "Listen, anyway, back to me, babe. You hadn't even talked about everything I've done for you. Like, look at me. I've moved into this way smaller space for you." And he goes, "Small but good. In Turkey, we have saying, small like butthole, and it is cute." No,
I
no,
I
no,
I
no.
wasn't I wasn't
Mm,
expecting that.
and I don't think that's true. I don't think in Turkey there's a saying, "small like butthole." No.
What was the other one about the chickens, just
Oh,
doing it
about
on the
the
side?
what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And you just say the cock fucks the chicken and leaves. Like, I mean, it's like, that's
What?
not as what? But small like butthole is not what he's trying to say.
No, but I do
No.
think he could release a book of, Turkish sayings. It could be like a calendar, and each day
Mm.
there would be like a funny Turkish saying that
Like a
he's
like a
maybe
flip calendar, like
butchering.
every day you tear it off? Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have him, like, his Ken doll chest,
Mm, mhm, mhm,
in different outfits, like his construction worker outfit. She
mhm.
could be on some days, like, give her, like, Sunday, the Lord's Day. She could have, like, different looks on each Sunday. I think that would be great. That could
Yeah.
sell out. They need to capitalize more on their fame. That's what they are here
Amy
for.
Archer would buy 10. She loves them.
Mhm.
Um, so, and she's like, "Okay, babe, that's, like, gross and not a saying." He goes, "No, it's cute, like butthole." So she goes, "Listen, when we get home, like, we'll be able to, like, cook in the kitchen now, and you won't have to leave the house when I have clients. It'll be, like, totally better." And he goes, "It's so hard for me because I don't have a job and I'm just staying at home. I'm house husband all day." And she says, "Well, now you can, like, focus on your comedy." Mhm. Um, and he says, "Do you want to see my fork at home?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I'll see your crack at home." And he goes, "Cute butthole. I love it."
Okay.
All right. All right. Now we see
And then
Sarper.
Dave is thinking we're just gonna see them actually do it.
Dave was like, "I don't understand." He literally was like, "Is he trying to say plumber's crack? Where is he from?" I go, "He says Turkish sayings that we think he's just making up because he thinks it's funny."
Yeah.
Dave goes, "Oh, okay." Dave was like, "But he could just called her off as a butthole." I was like, "Quit trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Quit trying to get it." So, Sarper is practicing his stand-up routine for the dogs. I spent a lot of time rewinding and trying to figure out that den area now that it's a
Mhm.
den area, because she comes
Yeah.
down the stairs and there's a big, concrete column at the bottom of the stairs, and then behind that, it's a, area, like a curtained off area, and where they're standing is you can see the kitchen, and there's, like, a little leather couch there, and it seems like maybe she has a little leather chair, but what's behind the curtained area that basically would be under the stairs? I was
Oh,
I need to get a floor plan for those
a
apartments
clot
ASAP.
Harry Potter.
It's yeah, but
Maybe that's where the
taller.
daughter sleeps when the daughter's there.
Oh, like a little sleeping nook.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, that's still better than what's his face, Clayton's mom being in the
Mhm.
closet. I mean, or it's the same. It's exactly the same.
Why mommy in closet? So, um, never forget. So, he says, "You always tell me I'm always the funniest guy." And she goes, "Well, like, you could be funny in the wild, but then when you write it down, like, sometimes it's like, you gotta choose your words better. Like, sometimes it doesn't work, babe." So, they go and meet with her friends, Josh and Wendy. Josh is with the face, and Wendy is, cute.
I just
Josh Josh has turned into, Vince Vaughn from Swingers. He says, "What you doing? How you doing, baby? What's up, baby? Baby, how you doing? Come here, baby." He says, "How you doing, baby? What's up, baby?" like 12 times. Did you notice this?
No, I was too busy looking at his cheekbones, which
Uh-huh.
are Darcy level on the
Yes.
last reunion.
Mm,
Like, it looks so painful,
mhm.
like,
He's got a
that
very
crevice.
strange, like, mushroom hairstyle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's fun to look at.
I don't know what Josh is doing with his life, but he says to Sarper, "What up, baby? How you doing, baby?" And gives him a hug.
To Sarper, he calls
To
Sarper
Sarper
baby.
and kisses him on the cheek. And then she's like, "Hi, guys. I'm just gonna go get a drink. Okay, here's Sarper. You guys make sure to laugh. Like, be nice." And then
They
Dan
don't,
walks up.
by
No,
the
they
way.
Dan walks up, and again, Josh, "Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Come here, baby. What's up, baby?" To Dan.
I was pissed. Honestly, this is the most invested I've ever been in their storyline. I was like,
Oh.
"Why is Dan there? Who invited Dan? That is not
Mhm.
nice to do to Sarper on his big night at being a stand-up comic. Why
Yeah.
is Dan wearing a tie
Yeah.
that felt like an FU? Everything he does feels like an FU to Sarper." I was
Mhm.
mad.
Well, um, I was focused on the, "Hey, baby. What's up, baby? I'm Vince Vaughn in swingers. Come on, baby." And,
That's why there's 2 of us, because we can each focus on different things.
that's right. D
Yeah.
both equally unimportant. And so,
Yeah.
Sarper's just not happy. The Dan is there. He's like, "I don't know who invited him." And she's like, "He's in my friend group, babe."
Oh my
And,
god. She should have told him to leave. Like,
well, Dan says later, he goes, "Josh invited me. Normally, Shekinah would invite me." I was like, "Well, somebody invited you." And Shekinah
yeah,
should have
Josh
said,
did it,
yeah,
and that was Josh doing it as an FU? Like, or did Josh just mention it to Dan and then Dan invited himself?
I don't know. But either way, production was happy he was there. So,
They were thrilled.
yeah.
Um, I would like to petition, can you email Matt Sharp and
Okay.
say, "Can we permanently replace Dan with Don?"
Dan,
Dan,
Don,
Dan,
Don,
Dan,
Dane.
can we swap one Dan for another Dan?
Yeah.
Is that because I hate this Dan, this French Dan, French baguette, I hate him.
I do too. He's annoying. He's annoying. So these 3 other comedians go up and there's like jokes about boobs and, whatever, and jokes about being drunk. And um Dan is just annoying Sarper by his presence. Cause I mean, Sarper's like, "I have to do jokes now. I have to look right at him." She's like, "Oh my God, babe, it's
Yeah.
fine. Like, he's in my friend group." So
Ugh,
he gets up and does his jokes about like man is draft from God and woman is something, and the dick is that extra part, and the dick is like 90% of your life as a man trying to get the little man below to settle down, little man.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
his
call.
whole act was him talking. It was like a ventriloquist act, but he's talking to his penis the whole time.
Yeah, so gross.
And it wasn't working, and he should have moved on, which is
Yeah,
where once you become a professional comedian, I think you
yeah.
can sense how to read the audience
Yeah, they don't
and
think this is funny, so let me go on to my next
go to another
bunch.
bit.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and he makes a couple of digs at Dan, "If you're a normal
I
male."
loved that. I
Yeah,
laughed. I laughed out loud. That
"Except for
was the
you, Dan."
funniest. Yeah.
And Dan is, like, super butthurt, which I loved. I thought that was funny that Dan actually had his feelings hurt.
Yeah.
That's what I
Like,
liked.
what you came there to be a shit stirrer,
Yeah,
you did, and you got called out, and you deserve to get heckled.
yes,
Is it
agree.
heckling when the comedian does it to the audience, or is it
No,
just the other way around?
I think it's called a clapback. It's
Yeah.
clapback, Kimberly, yeah. So, Harper sits back down and she goes, "Oh my God, like Dan is so upset." He goes, "I don't care." And she goes, "Well, you should care because like he's in my friend group, okay? And like you being mean to him is not going to push him away." And he goes, "We will see." And he says, "I don't care. I mean, I love your friend group, but not him, not Dan." And in the talking heads, Harper says, "He started it. I finish it.
Mhm.
We are even 1-1."
And it did distract him from how badly he bombed up there.
Yeah.
The fact that
Mhm.
he got some digs in at Dan, I don't think he's even noticed that he was bombing because he was so focused. So maybe Dan did him a favor by being
He
there.
Sarper could make jokes about growing up in Turkey and what the differences are, and, "My mother would
Mhm.
say this, and that would be funny," or, We have, sayings that I thought would make perfect sense here, but then when I translated them, I told
Yeah.
my girlfriend her office looked like a cute butthole. That was offensive.
Right.
Like, he could
Yes.
make some jokes about his everyday blunders of being Turkish in America, not knowing the right
Yes.
words and stuff. Yeah.
So
Yes.
in his class, is he doing the comedy as you're working out, or are you just supposed to laugh because of the exercise of laughing?
I think it's the exercise of laughing from what I've seen online that it's like him going, "Here, we're gonna do 3 steps to the left, lift your knee," and then
So he's not doing any jokes to trigger the
No,
laughing.
you have to do the loud laughing. I think it's something about the breathing and
It's
pushing out,
yeah.
you know? It looks terrible,
Yeah.
and he looks like an upside down triangle cartoon because he's like the way his body is shaped because of his
Yeah.
shoulders, and then the tiny little
Yes.
legs. Um,
But anyway, I think Shekinah sucks because she should kick Dan out of this friend group. He's been a jerk since last season on the reunion. And if someone treats your partner that way, like repeatedly, I would think that you should maybe kick them out. They don't show
okay.
any respect for you or your relationship.
Hmm. Well,
That's how I feel.
I think you're taking it too seriously, and, um, I think that you're going with
I
the
never
fact
thought
that
I'd be an apologist for Sarper. I'd have Sarper's back on this, but
it's the way the show gets you.
yeah.
You turn all the way around on people. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think maybe TLC realized he was, like, TV gold. Because
Yes.
I sent Matt last night, just I sent Matt a quote, and it just said, "Your butthole is tiny and cute," and sent that to Matt, and he wrote back, "Sarper is gold." Like, he knew exactly he thinks
He
he's
really
so
is.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to Jessica and Juan, and,
Okay.
we got a lot of boobs in this episode, like, a lot of boobs, and
Yeah, a
not
lot of
just on
boobs.
Stevie's paintings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they are I wonder how, Maddie feels watching this episode. So they are going to their joint bachelorette parties, and the boys are staying with the dad, who we've never met, and her mom is coming to help with the baby, and the mom says not one word this entire episode, even though she's riding in the car with them.
I think she's just there. Jessica must be breastfeeding and, like, can't leave the baby because
Yeah.
otherwise mom could watch the baby at home.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think she's breastfeeding. At least the mom has less to say about this relationship than Megan. Um, but we didn't even get like a talking head. They would pull the mom to the
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
like out they do an on the spot talking head and say, like, how do you feel about your daughter's
Yeah, yeah,
relationship?
yeah, right, and she's, like,
You know?
she would be, like, holding the baby like, "Well, I'm always
Yeah.
with this baby." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How do you think they should have had kids? Do you think there should do you think he's gonna be happy in this poop town? Like, they
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
anything from the mom. So maybe she just doesn't wanna be on TV. So they're going to this old west town called Deadwood, and he's like, "Saloons are bars, right? Bars, alcohol, partying, there's gonna be something, right? Or is it
He's
just children and poop?"
he's excited. I will say I did just look up Carbondale is in Colorado. So,
Oh, okay.
there's it looks beautiful. Go ahead.
So they're staying at this big rental house, and Megan is there with Herbie. Megan is acting happy to be there. She has her best happy face on, and
Very supportive.
she got
Mhm.
reprogrammed in this episode. Uh, so
Oh my
she's
god,
not
that reminds me
the
too,
killer
Kimberly.
robot.
An ad came on when we were watching Dateline, an ad came on for the Megan movie.
The sequel? Is there a
Yeah,
sequel
I
coming?
think it's called, like, Megan Zoe. Like, it's called, like I don't know if this is her evil twin named Zoe or what,
Yeah.
but
Oh my god.
Dave looked up from, eating and whatnot and goes, "Who comes up with this shit?" And I
Yeah.
said, "Kimberly loves to talk about the movie Megan." He goes, "Oh, she likes it?" I go, "No, I'm sure she's never seen it." She
I
just
saw it.
is
I saw it. I'll watch any scary movie. It wasn't
You
that
saw
scary.
that
It's more
movie
funny.
you saw that movie, Megan, about the killer
On
doll?
TV, okay? I did not,
Okay,
like,
okay,
go to the theater to watch
okay.
it.
Alright, okay,
I
sure.
was curious. I was
Mhm.
started watching the first few minutes, and then I watched the whole thing.
Well, okay, so you watched it at home while you were diamond painting. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, it's a doll that flosses and then starts killing people. It's pretty funny. I'm excited for the sequel. So and I'm telling you, those 2 Megans, this Megan and that Megan, I did send you a side by side. It's pretty
Yes.
close. So she's just gonna floss at the wedding and then be like, "I object, floss," and then like comes and murders
And
Juan.
then with a
Floss.
knife and then she murders with a knife or
Yep.
is that her
Uh-huh.
weapon of choice, a knife?
Yes.
It is,
Yes.
okay,
Oh,
good
well,
for her.
no, she can do like crazy things, like shove somebody down a vat of like she could do like electrocute people. I don't know.
Oh,
She's
wow.
very creative.
Oh, good
Yeah,
for
she's
her.
creative. So they are going to Mount Rushmore like you do on any bachelor party,
Sure.
which is
Mhm.
yeah. And I should go. I've never been.
I've never
That's bad,
been.
right? Oh, you've never been either.
I don't
Okay,
even
then
know
I
where it
don't feel so
is.
bad. Well, it is in
Nebraska? Are
North
they in
Dakota.
I don't know.
Where
I don't know.
okay, we're
Okay.
so dumb. We're dumb
Mhm,
Americans.
mhm.
So Juan has she's gonna Mary Payne's gonna look it up so that people are not
Mount
screaming it up. Yeah.
Rushmore.
It's in
Okay.
the one of the Dakotas, I'm gonna guess.
I just really typed in Mount Rushmore, and the first thing that came up was Mount Rushmore Trump. Okay,
Okay.
not happening, everybody, not
Jesus
it is
Christ.
in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Yes. Okay,
Okay,
good.
now I'm gonna look up Deadwood Wood location, South Dakota. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, they're in South Dakota, guys, that's where they are. Okay, yes, we knew
Because
that.
I couldn't tell how far the drive was. Like,
Yeah,
they
I couldn't
left
either.
during the day, but it was still the day when they got there, so it wasn't like a long drive. Um, so Juan has this friend coming who's
Mhm.
his cousin, childhood friend/cousin, slash cousin, who left Colombia when he was, like, 9, so they haven't seen each other in person for many years, but they've FaceTimed, and they both cry when they see each other. It's very sweet.
I didn't understand, was Juan 9 and this guy was 10 years older than him? I was thinking the Juan was like, I was 9, he was 19, he had left. I haven't seen him
Okay,
since I
that's
was
possible. Again, I was just taking notes on my phone, so anything is possible.
it seems like the guy
Um,
was older than him and he looked up to him as like a cousin and a
o
friend.
okay, and then he
Yeah,
left many years to come to America,
yeah,
and so okay, so Juan they're crying, they're getting to see each other in person, it's very sweet, and then
yeah.
the baby starts crying because he pooped his pants or whatever. I
Because
don't
he's
know
a
why
baby.
babies cry.
Yeah, yeah.
So Juan now has someone from his culture, which is nice because he can speak Spanish with them and like that's really nice. So and this guy has kids, so they can talk about that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So they drive in the car just by themselves so they can bond. And Juan confesses what a struggle it's been not to work and how he got a call from the cruise ship. And the cousin says,
Mhm.
"Talk to Jessica." And Juan's like, "Yeah, she won't like it. I'd be gone for 8 months on an 8-month contract. So when the baby would be like a toddler when he comes back, like
He
walking, he'll miss everything.
Juan, you cannot
Um,
do this. You cannot do this.
you
Nope.
can't I don't think you can do this. So they go to Mount Rushmore and there's like a storm. It's like
Mm.
a torrential rain. They're wearing rain ponchos and the fog is so much that you can't see like a foot in front of you. So they literally cannot see Mount Rushmore. So they're just staring and Juan looks like such a sad sack, like a literal wet blanket is on him. Like he's just staring. He's like a meme of just like,
I don't think
you reminded
these
me
aren't
of
the, kind of American things he wants to see.
no, but
No.
Jessica built it up and was like, if you wanna become a naturalized citizen, they'll ask you these dumb questions that not even, born Americans
Yeah,
know, which is true,
yeah.
like,
Like you and
who's
me.
on
Yeah,
Mount Rushmore and things
right.
like that. So this is kind of like you're studying for your tests and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Okay." But, like, it's so I wanna do a side by side of Nicole wearing that burqa, bikini, burkini.
Burkini, uh-huh.
Because she looked so sad, and then
Yeah,
him just looking so sad,
in his
just, like,
raincoat.
just so sad in the raincoat, in the rain poncho, just staring, can't see anything, "We drove all this way, can we get drunk now? This is supposed to be my bachelor party."
Yeah, yeah.
So, they go back to the house, and she thinks there's probably gonna be strippers at that night, and she's like, "Okay, just have fun, but be good. Have" it's like she's her son, "Make good choices."
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
act like your mommy's with you. So at the house, there's a bunch of friends. They're all hers.
That
And
surprised her, though.
they surprise her. They blow
Yeah,
confetti. It's very cute. Megan then gives Juan a shirt that she's made with Jessica's face all over it, which is such a Megan thing to do.
yeah,
Um, so that now no girls will hit on him because he's wearing a shirt with Jessica's face all over it.
yeah.
And She has to protect her man. I mean, Jessica's man. And
But
so
she gives Herbie and the cousin a shirt with his face all over it,
right. It's very
with
I
Juan's face all over it. And I was like, I'm surprised she didn't
that's
give
funny.
her husband
No,
a shirt with
with
her
her
face.
face,
Yeah,
but
but
she doesn't care about her marriage. She's only concerned with this other marriage. So for the girls, there are like at least 15 girls on a party bus, and then they keep cutting to Juan and Herbie and the cousin. It's just the 3 of them, and they're crammed into the backseat of an Uber, just like shoulder to shoulder, and then the girls are all whooping it up on a party bus. It's pretty funny and kinda sad. I felt bad for Juan. So, the girls, at their bar, oh my god, they're woohooing so much. I got an instant headache.
These are the
Woohoo!
people you don't wanna
Woo!
see if you walk into a bar to have a drink with a friend. You're like, "Oh,
God,
we gotta
no.
go somewhere else."
A girl wearing a sash and a tiara, and there's confetti, and they're, "Woohoo!
We gotta
Girls'
go.
night."
And they're
I
all wearing
can't.
matching sunglasses, and I was like, we're
Yes.
gonna have to go. We're gonna have to
No,
go I
no.
don't care if this is the only bar, we have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the boys' bar has a dancer kinda doing, like, this burlesque dance named Rosy Cheeks, which I'm is guessing is not her biblical name, and, she strips, he loves it, and he's like, "This reminds me of partying on the boat that I miss so much. Being on the boat, I miss being on the boat. Being on the boat made me feel alive," which, if you say that, that sentiment means that being with Jessica in Manure Town makes you feel dead, I guess.
Yeah. Mhm.
He
Yeah,
doesn't go as far to say that, but we can infer.
I think he's just really the difference is so stark. If he just moved to Alexandria, Virginia, or like
Right.
OC, I mean, a regular town with just a little bit more going on,
Yeah.
then it would be totally different. But they've just moved to a town that is just the opposite of being a bartender on a Carnival cruise, you know?
And I think they maybe can't leave because the dad is there, the
Yeah,
dad of the 2 boys, but, like, it sucks because he could be a bartender at, like, a happening bar and have
yeah,
a great time, and it
yeah,
would fulfill that make him feel alive.
yeah.
So, Jessica's getting white girl wasted. She's just so happy, and then Juan gets, like, at his bar, gets, like, a strange cowgirl strip dance, like, Coyote Ugly vibes. I don't know, it was like a
Mhm.
cowgirl stripping. He's loving
So
it.
so many boobs being just rubbed all over him.
Just boobs right
Yes.
in his face, and he's
Yeah,
so happy.
yeah.
So they all come home wasted. Herbie cannot even walk, but I would drink that much if I was married to Megan
He
too.
was passed out in the back seat, and they couldn't even, like, get him to wake up. That was bad.
They're, like, carrying the 2 other
Mhm.
guys are, like, carrying him in, and Megan thinks it's hilarious. She's like, "Get to bed, Herbie. We'll talk about this later." So he come on. If this was your life and you were married to Megan and all she did was talk about Juan and Jessica's marriage, you would get this wasted too.
But remember,
So
he told them at the bar too, that was another thing, he told them at the bar, both of them, that he really misses the boat and says he feels bad that he misses the boat. He was like, "Shit, I feel bad that I miss it so much, but, like, I could go away for another 8 months, but I think she'll be mad if I do that." Now, meanwhile, Herbie's like, "Oh, if only I wasn't so drunk, I could remember to tell this to Megan tomorrow, but I won't
the
remember."
intel.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
He's the spy.
Yeah.
So Jessica is they get so that Jessica is all horny now for Juan at
Mhm.
home because she's like it seems like he barely drank anything and he's like was such a good boy. She doesn't know boobs were just rubbed all over his face.
He didn't have
Uh
hands available for drinking.
yeah.
His hands
So
were busy.
yeah. So but she's like so horny for him. He's my good boy. It's again, it's very like mother I don't know. I don't like it. So she says good boy a lot. And so she's like, he looks so innocent. She says that too. Like he looks like so innocent in his little t-shirt with my face on it.
He does
So
look innocent, but I think
he
she is had a baby with him to know that he's not innocent,
he's
you
not
know?
innocent.
Yeah.
So they lay down in bed and he could actually get some. And there's no kids around.
Yeah.
And instead, he decides to tell her about the emotional struggles he's been having. And the cruise life is calling and he wants to answer the phone. And she is, she is like The sea is calling to him like a ship, like an old sea captain. And so she is like drunk. She's like, "You're gonna tell me about this now?
Mhm.
What? No, you're not going." And she like instantly snaps back into that, like, no, Juan, you're not doing this.
Mhm.
And if you want that long distance life, like I don't want that for my son. Like, I don't want you to only see your son a couple months out of every year. Like, that's crazy. And we're not doing this. I'm not gonna raise him by myself
Yep.
anymore. And
Mhm.
if you want to do the cruise life, then you can do it without us, essentially. So
Yeah.
ultimatum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But
I
he
think
can't
that's correct.
he can't go back to cruise life. I mean,
He can't. There has to be some sort of healthy medium where
yeah.
he could get some more fun in his life without the yeah,
Yeah, there has
going
to
back.
be somebody wrote, and it was like they're in Torrington, they're so close to blah blah blah, some town. They're like, and that's like a happening town in Wyoming. It's only like 45 minutes away. I can't imagine that, the dad would be upset if the kids were within an hour. I was like,
Right.
well, the dad's used to them being within 10 minutes. I was walking distance. They walked to the dad's
Yeah.
house. And also her business is there in Torrington, you
Yeah,
know?
that's true. So he would have to commute to that other town then. To the
Mhm.
bowl. It must be the town that has the bowling alley because that
Must
was also
be.
45 minutes away.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's like, "There's a town that's, like, right there that's great."
There's a bar at the bowling alley. So
I mean, that probably wouldn't fulfill you like a Carnival cruise, but, um
listen, none of it is. It's all gonna be a pale, pale comparison to
mhm.
what he was experiencing before, but that's what marriage is and parenthood. It's a pale, pale comparison of what you knew before, but in other ways fulfills you more, so I've heard.
Perhaps. All right, let's move it on to Stevie and Maddie. Are you done? I assume you're done, sorry.
Absolutely done.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, "I think we're done with those 2."
I'm so
Stevie and
done.
Maddie. So, she's like, "Listen, I ordered a couple dresses for the wedding since we moved it up, and, I'm not traditional, so I wanna show 'em to you beforehand." He goes, "Is this going to take, like, an hour?" And she's like, "Maybe." So she goes in and puts on a dress, and first of all, the dress, it's like it seems like it's not zipped or something. It just seems, like, very, like, bulky, you
Yeah, it
know?
did. It didn't show
Uh,
off her figure very well.
no, and it just seems, like, thick or she had the wrong bra or something. So anyway, she shows her the first dress, and he goes, hmm, well, I don't know about that dress because it makes you look, like, old?" And she goes, "What?" And he goes, "Because, like, the flower print is, like, for old ladies over, like, 50 or 60." How dare you as I have a flower print behind
How
me.
dare you? But
Um,
apparently that's a thing in Iran.
that once you get past 50, you must start wearing florals.
Yeah,
It's mandated.
but when
Um,
your fiance is, like, 10 years older than you
yeah.
and 40, as Keith Morrison said, is barreling down on her like a Chinese bullet train. Thank you, Keith Morrison. We will never forget. Um, I've never taken something so personally, that was said on Dateline.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so you shouldn't say that. He doesn't know tact at all.
No,
Tact
but
is
he
something
also
he's never.
doesn't he was trying to say, like, where I'm from, only old ladies wear, like, a floral lace, but he
Yeah,
just like she said, he doesn't always say the things right. So they're
yeah.
doing the, talking head, and she's like, "Yeah, you said it made me look old." He goes, "No, I just meant because of, like, the flowers." And she goes, "Yeah, your wording is not the best." He's like,
Not the
"That's
best.
true, I could work on that." So they're
Mhm.
headed to New Orleans. We didn't see the second dress, but I guess she's picking the second dress. They're headed to New Orleans for a joint bachelorette party. She names her friends that are coming. I already forgot, but they go to this really nice, like boutique type hotel that has like a cool, like in their room has like a cool sitting area. And she goes, "There's going to be so much for you to look at in here." Talk about like a toddler. She's like, "You're going to be able to look at all sorts of things on the wall." It's like,
It's
what?
like a flip book.
Yeah.
Look it, and then
Look.
there's an elephant
Yeah.
picture.
Exactly. So she says they're going to this burlesque type show tonight, and she's like, like my friend Claire is in that burlesque show in Hattiesburg, and he's like,
Claire with the
uh,
boobs. Oh, no.
Claire, the girl with had the boobs. Um, he goes, well, I'm getting very like nervous about it because she was like, "Are you excited? You're gonna see your friend. You're gonna go out." And he goes, no, I think I'm more nervous than excited because are they going to be naked? And she goes, maybe. And he goes, will they be topless? And she goes, maybe. And he's like, hmm. He goes, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. And I feel like maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And then he says,
It's funny, like, when they were in the car, he was like, "Sin City, we're going to
yeah,
Sin City. We're gonna have do some sins." I've never seen him so excited. We
yeah.
also, that's not Sin City, but,
That's what
it's
Dave said.
fine.
I said,
Yeah,
he's from Iran. He doesn't know. Quit correcting him.
it's
Yes.
fine.
Mhm.
Maybe there can be multiple Sin Cities.
Mhm.
So but now it's, like, getting real, and he's, like, hearing his parents' voice or something, and he's like, "You
Yes.
shouldn't be doing this."
Yes. Yeah. So he says, what if I see something and it makes me go back to the question if she's bisexual or not? Our wedding is so
He's
close, it could ruin everything. I was like,
he's obsessed. He's like a politician. He's obsessed with people being gay.
yes. Yeah, quit worrying about it, bruh.
Yeah.
So he meets his friend Saeed. So Saeed is his online friend. And he has been in the United States for 10 years. They share the same culture, the same country. And he feels like Saeed really understands him, what he's going through. So Saeed sees him and hugs him and kisses him and is like, oh, it's so good to see you. And you could tell that like Maddie is so like, okay, dude. He's like,
Yeah.
clingy much. But Saeed hugs him and kisses him. And then he hugs him again. He goes, oh, I just can't get enough of you. It's like,
Wow.
wow, bisexual say what? Huh?
Say what? I
What?
know. I think I might have been onto something last week.
Yeah. Look inward.
I think he
So
protests too much.
Maddie tells Saeed, he says, yeah, and I got to her house, there were just so many naked paintings of girls. And then I found out that she did these paintings in person. And one of them is a friend of hers named Claire. And Saeed just drops his head down dramatically, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're kidding.
Yeah. Like,
He
he
goes,
found out she used to do meth or something.
it's
Like,
something terrible. I found out there were 3 kids she didn't tell me about. Like,
yes.
Um, and he goes, and Claire, her friend, is coming to the bachelorette. I'm concerned about it. And Saeed goes, so what, like, explain exactly what the problem is with it, right? Because they're both girls. So his whole thing was like, why do you care if she sees her friend's boobs? They're both girls. It's like a locker room. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
And Maddie says, well, keep it between us and this camera crew. Keep it between us. But I have a feeling she's also interested in the same sex. Saeed puts his head down again. He goes, well, where we come from, that's taboo. But you see things like this every day here. So I'm not surprised. And what if,
America turns people gay.
you know how it is in America? And he says, what if after you get married, you find out more about her past and things that could bother you? And Maddie goes, yeah, but I do love her so much. And Saeed goes, how long can love justify all the terrible feelings you're having? I was like, well, this
Okay, calm
escalated.
down.
Jeez. What?
So they must not do the oiling up locker room massages that we saw in Jordan, in
Mhm.
Iran, because there's no way you could have a problem with a girl painting another woman's boobs if we with the massaging that we saw
Mhm.
betwixt 2 men
Mhm.
is fine.
It was like 3 on 1 man.
It
It was
was
like
like 3
one
on
man
1
oiling around a table and 3 men massaging
in the
him.
groin area,
Yes, specifically in the groin.
but that was in Jordan, so I don't know if that happens in Iran in those bathhouse things.
I don't either. I would never. People are like, "Yo, you go in there and you like strip all your clothes off and they scrub you, and they put all this stuff." And I'm like, I just don't think I could do it. And I
Yeah.
know that's their job and they're professional, and you probably come out like your whole body feels like a baby's skin. But I just
Yeah.
don't think I want to get 100% crotch out naked with a stranger scrubbing me. I just don't think I could
Yeah.
do it.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I could do it. Maybe I
Mm.
could. Maybe I could. So, now I'm gonna worry people are gonna start sending me videos. So, that's when Saeed's like this, "How can love justify these terrible feelings? I'm so worried about you." And, Maddie goes, "Yeah, I don't know. You're right. Like, gosh, what if I feel trapped after the wedding?" And then, Saeed walks off and Maddie goes, "Gosh, I feel like, my head's gonna explode. Like, but I knew my friend Saeed would understand me." Saeed says, "This is worse than I thought.
Oh my god.
I worry Stevie doesn't care about him at all." What did we miss 30 minutes of filming? How did we jump to this?
How do we become she's this big gay American predator and he's this like
Yes.
victim that's been catfished in this situation and she's going to
Yes.
like lock him up in her house or
And he's
something.
being forced into a marriage.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Mm-mm.
So then Maddie is realizing as he's talking to Saeed, because he knows that Stevie's about to come out, he says to Saeed, he goes, "Look, just don't think anything different about her. Like, forget what I said. Ixnay on the gay nay." And
Mm-mm.
and Stevie walks up and they were all like, "Hey, we weren't
We
talking about you at all. Hi,
being
girl."
gay at all. Hey
No.
gay. I mean, hey Stevie.
Nobody was kissing and saying, "I need to get more of you." Nothing weird was happening here. Nobody was talking about boobs. So, in the talking head, Maddie says he immediately regretted asking Saeed for advice. He says, "I'm immediately regretting it." Right when which happens to me on the daily, something comes out of my mouth and
Mhm.
I'm like, "I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Why can't I control myself?" And he
Yeah.
says, "I put my foot in my mouth and now Saeed's going to have a bad impression of Stevie
Right.
before he's even met her."
Which is exactly what happened when Stevie told her family, what he had said about wanting to go home. He got
Right.
mad at her because it made them think differently of him, and he was like, "Don't involve them in our relationship," and
You're
then he
so
just did
right.
it.
You're so right. So, Saeed says, the first time I came to New Orleans was about a year after I moved to the States. It's really fun. I especially love the drinks and they get hurricanes. And so Maddie's like, "Oh, we have a drink like this in our culture. It's called like ice in paradise or something." And he goes, "Yeah, but these have alcohol." He's like, "This has alcohol? Oh, you're trying to get me drunk or something?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a hurricane on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of alcohol actually."
Mhm.
So, he asked Stevie, "How's your family, dealing with Maddie being here and everything?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I told him at the last minute and they weren't excited about that." He goes, "Why would you do that? You evil, evil bisexual." And,
And I think he's starting to get drunk a little too, the
oh,
friend.
uh-huh.
So I think he's just I was scared he was just gonna be like, "Stevie, are you a homo?" Like, I think he seems just like he's getting progressively more wasted.
"Stevie, do you see that girl over there? You wanna honk her boobs or what?"
So bad.
Oh, so bad. So, she goes, "Well, I told him at the last minute because the arrival date got pushed forward and all of a sudden, like, he could come, and I hadn't had a chance to tell him yet." The talking head, Saeed says, "This is so suspicious. She's guilty of hiding a secret until the last minute, and then she just gets everybody to behave in the way she likes, and that makes me think she's hiding other things for him that she won't tell him till the last second." Like,
I mean, he is drunk, but I did think that was kind of astute because I do think it's a problem that she waited so long to tell
yes.
her family,
She says that's what she
and
does with everything in her life.
she says that she does, she
Yeah.
avoids it and then, like, waits till the last minute, and so, yeah, I think that that could mean she has other things she's gonna tell him later,
Yeah, I do too. Here are my
but I
2
still love
children.
her. I st yeah. Where are the children?
Um,
At least he
Saeed
knows about the children.
he knows about the children. She says they
Yeah,
all get along.
yeah.
Saeed says so she sends, him off to get oysters. He's like, he seems drunk. He's like, "What am I asking for? What?"
Yeah,
And she goes,
oysters.
"Go up to that window and ask for oysters." He's like, and then I say, "What?" She goes, "Ask for oysters. Good luck." So he walks off. So Saeed says, "Stevie, we're friends." And she's like, "Met you 4 minutes ago." And he
Yeah.
says and he goes, "I wanna be honest with you. Maddie is my very good friend. Also just met him 4 minutes ago. And, I don't want him to get hurt. So, do you really think you care enough about his concerns and everything he's dealing with these days, or are you just being selfish?" "Sorry for saying that." And she goes, "Huh?" And he goes, "He has left everything behind, and I don't see any sacrifice from your side." And she just looks at him and, she goes, "You might have a misconception about me. Yeah, he's sacrificed a lot. He has, but so have I. I don't let people get close to me ever. And he goes, well, pfft, that didn't seem like a sacrifice to me. Maddie has a lot to lose. And she
I
goes,
mean, it that sh he he gave up his entire life and his
yes,
family
yeah,
and may not be able to see them again for a very long time
right,
and will never be able to go back to his homeland,
right.
and she's like, "But I let him in, and I
Mhm.
don't let people in, and that
And
was my sacrifice."
he's lucky to get so close to this.
Right. I mean,
So,
that didn't seem, like a sacrifice.
well, I think this conversation was also chopped up a lot. I mean, I think that because she is looking at him with that smile, like, I'm gonna kill you.
Uh-huh.
I smile with my teeth and I'm mad. So, he says, "Yeah, it's not a sacrifice. He has a lot to lose." And she goes, "Yeah, so do I. Yep." And so, yeah, but you know what? Maddie is grown and can make his own choices. Okay, bye bye. Good to see you, Saeed. How
Yeah,
far is
enjoy
it
that
for you to drive
hurricane.
home? Bye bye. So in the talking head, she goes, "This makes me wonder what Maddie said to him to make him think this way about me. And I do hope Saeed's not going to try to like mess up our wedding. And I'm
Oh
gonna wear
god.
that dress and he's gonna say I look old and it's gonna be terrible."
Right. He's gonna be
Um
drunk on hurricanes at the
I
wedding. I
think
object.
I don't
She's
think they're
a
getting
lesbian.
I don't think they're getting married there, do you?
No.
I
They're
think it's
getting
just
married at that one place they went to with Claire.
oh, so you know,
That
I didn't watch
cute
that episode.
little
I was out of town.
it was like a little rustic,
Yeah,
shabby chic kind of
yeah.
cute
No, I
place.
didn't. I never got to watch that whole episode. Okay, let's move on to Mina and Mark. I did
Mhm.
notice Mina pull out a hair straightener this week because I think she's learning that the more she travels, the frizzier her hair's getting.
Yeah. So, she is made it's his birthday, and we get, like, one of those and they're talking their hero shot, like, it changes his age to 59, and, she's making him a pancake, which looks more like a crepe. It's a giant pancake, but it looks good, and then she puts 59 on it with chocolate, but that got messed up, so then she did it with, whipped cream, but it instantly melts, so it just looks like shaving cream on top of it looked gross, but
The thought
anyway,
is
he appreciates it. He's like,
the
"I
thought
love
is
your
there.
pancakes."
Mhm.
What did you say?
The thought was there.
The
Yeah,
thought was there.
yeah.
It was very sweet, and he's like, "I love your pancakes, they're more like crepes," and, so he eats it with the slop on top, and he's very happy. He's like, "I can't believe I'm 59, I feel more like I'm 39," and he's literally carrying a baby in his arms that is his baby, so that's
Yes.
weird,
Mhm.
and he's like, "When she's, graduating high school, I'm gonna be 75 or something, and if we have a baby right now, I'd be 77 when they graduate high school." So,
Yep.
yeah, so it's a lot. So
Mhm.
they're going to Boston to celebrate his birthday, and her sister is coming to town the next day, and she's gonna stay until the wedding, which is in, like, a couple weeks,
Nice.
and then her brother is gonna come, and if Clayton, the son's passport is ready in time, the brother will come with Clayton, the little boy, but they don't know if it's gonna happen. They can't push the wedding because her visa will expire, and she says, "If Clayton isn't there, I won't get married," but we know she will. Come on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think she will.
Yeah.
But she's like, "I don't know what to do. I'll either hurt Clayton or I'll hurt Mark," and Mark is like, again, we'd have to start the process completely over again. Like,
Mhm.
it would be, like, another at least year till you could come here again,
Mhm.
and I think I should keep Maria if that happens. So
Right. What you gonna throw her in the back of the plane when we have to do these jobs? Like, what are you talking about?
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's take the baby away from the mom. That's
Mhm.
the great idea, with a 60-year-old man who flies around. He can have
Uh-huh.
Martini Pat babysit. He's
Sure.
like she could be at the Stitch Bitch.
Maria is the latest member of the Stitching Bitch. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So she's like, "No, I would no, absolutely not." Also, then she'd be like going back to be with her son, but then leaving her daughter
Yeah.
and like she can never win and
Yeah.
she's in a bad situation. She literally cannot win. She's always going to be missing one of her family.
Yeah.
So they go to Boston where they have real stores without gas station pasta, so she's loving it, and she wants him to enjoy his birthday, but also she wants to ruin it by asking him to adopt Clayton or she won't sign the prenup. So She's like, "I don't want it to feel like emotional blackmail, even though it is, and also someone acknowledging that is a first for this show, so
Mhm.
good for
Yeah.
her."
Mhm.
And, she loves Boston. She's like, "Oh, these it reminds me of Carrie on Sex and the City. It's
Yeah.
like the same buildings." And he goes, "That's New York." And, she's like, "It's the same though." And,
Yeah.
she's like, "God, I miss that TV show."
It was so funny. She goes, "I missed that TV show." I was like, "Guess what? In America, you can stream it anytime you want." Yeah.
Exactly. And that reboot on Max,
And you can watch the
that I
reboot.
heard sucked.
It's not that
Um,
great, but sure.
I hated the original show too. It's just too many puns for me. Too much sex. Too many
It's
puns
very
about
it's
sex.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, don't take her to New York, Mark, because if he takes her to New York, she will leave him for New York. She will like break up with him to be with New York.
Yeah, I think Boston's a good, middle ground. Boston's a like
Middle
we've said it
ground.
before, it's a big city. We think it's close to where he lives. Yeah.
Mhm. So, they go to this French restaurant. She's very excited that the menu's in French. She brings up the prenup. "Happy birthday. I'm bringing up the prenup. I'll sign it if you adopt Clayton." And as suspected, this is a huge Matt Sharp fake out because
Yes.
last week it looked like he was like going to cry and hated her for bringing, "How dare you?" He pauses, pauses. "Yes, I was already going to adopt Clayton. I want to
Yeah.
adopt him.
Yeah.
I love that kid. I'm totally on board." I always tell people I have 4 kids. Like, I
Mhm.
love Clayton so much, and she starts crying. She's this season's cryo. She's this season's Kenny. 'Cause she cries constantly, and it's like they're very thin tears. It's just, like, literally just like water, just, like, pouring down her face all at any moment. She doesn't
Mm.
even have any, like, facial movements that indicate that she's crying, but there's, like, constantly tears dripping out of her face. She's
I
a
wonder
good crier.
I wonder if she's an actress because 'cause we've never known
Yeah,
what she does for her job. I
what
wonder
she
if she's an
does.
actress. Yeah.
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 So she's crying, and then he starts crying because and it's actually very sweet. He starts crying because she's crying, and then kind of cries because he feels like he let her down because he hasn't been able to get Clayton there, and he
Yeah.
says, "I can't control the paperwork, I can't control what the government does, like, I wish I could, I feel like I failed you and I failed him." And then he cries to us and he says, "I had the most amazing dad in the world, he taught me how to be a man, and, like, I think it's the greatest thing you can do is to put things on it, teach them well and let them lead the way, etc." And like, I want to do that for Clayton.
Yeah.
And so he's very excited. So very happy, total Matt Sharp fake out. We are going to have to see what Jordan thinks about this, though, of course, before we can move on with this plan. We're going to have to get Jordan's input. She's not going to like it.
4 kids in the will instead of 2 is really dividing that money
Yeah.
up. Mhm.
Uh-huh. Plus
Mhm.
a 5th because they keep saying they wanna have one.
Please don't do
So,
that. Please don't have another kid.
I think you have 1. Maria seems great. You knocked it
You'll
out
have
of the park.
Clayton too? You'll
You
have
have
Clayton?
Clayton,
Mhm.
so just stop when you're ahead.
Agree. Um, let's move on to the fake throuple. Um, when my husband was watching them, he said,
Oh god.
"Oh, okay." He said, "So this is like a lesbian couple." I said, "No, that guy is in it too. It's a throuple." He goes, "Huh?" He just is so I go, "Yeah,
But
it's
he
those
also
2."
he thinks the women are way more into each other than they are into
Well,
Matt.
he never even saw Ani until the end because she wasn't even on this episode really. I said, "It's these people, they're a couple and they're fake and they're trying to pretend like they wanna, get married to this other girl that lives in Tijuana." He goes, "I don't understand." I go, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." So, Ray now sorry, I'm trying to get my cough drop out of my mouth.
Poor
Ray,
poor Ray.
is Ray spelled R-A-Y or R-E-Y?
AY, I think.
I thought so too, but on the screen, on the closed caption,
Oh,
it
did
said E-Y. Mhm.
Oh, I thought it was AY. But regardless, they're looking at him like he is an actual troll collecting tolls under a bridge.
They're like, "You're not as hot as us. Ew. Get
Ew, they're
out of
literally
here."
looking at him like he has 4 heads or something. Like, ugh.
They are just like,
Like,
"Him?"
I can't even eat my food now with this person in front of me. Like, I feel so bad for Ray.
It's bad. So Ray goes in, and the talking head Amani goes, Yeah. He's like a yeah, he's like well, he's like a tiny little guy, like, he's more tiny than I thought. Ew.
Ew,
So,
ew.
Ray tells them, "Oh, yeah, okay, so you guys are dating her together?" He goes, "I've only heard about you through social media. She's never told me about you." And they're like, "Shh, what? She never told you about us?" This is so telenovela. Everything about them is so fake and annoying, and I'm just gonna, like, hate recap them, okay?
Yeah.
So, Amani goes, "Well, the only thing I know about you is that you're, like, an ex-boyfriend and I send you money for her." And he goes, yeah, I would definitely say we were dating. Yeah." He goes, we were together in 2022. We dated for a while. We broke up right before Christmas, but we stayed friends." And she goes, "So you would say like you were in a relationship?" Because they cannot fucking believe that
Right.
Ani would be in a relationship. They're like, "So
She
you're
dated
saying?"
you? Like, she touched you? Like, you would like I'm sorry, I just can't wrap my head around this. So, like, she would, like, hold hands with you? Like, in front of people? Wait, like, with the lights on? She would, like
He
she would
can't
kiss
they
you?
cannot get over it. And they're like, "Where did you even meet her?" And he's like, "At the club, the same place you guys met her." And
I'm
he
sorry,
goes,
was this like, one of those frat parties where you have to, like, bring the biggest nerd and then, like, you bring in the biggest nerd and then you win, like, a prize or something? I'm sorry, I keep asking so many questions, I just don't understand.
And he goes, "Yeah, I mean, we were definitely in a relationship. Like, I met her daughter." And they go, "Oh, yeah, we met her daughter." And he goes, "I mean, I met all our kids." And they're like, "Oh,
She
what?
really does it, that's the head she does, she goes spins that head around.
What?
"You saw her daughters? Yeah, you saw the other kids?"
Crazy." And he goes, "Yeah, and I helped her, open a bank account because it was a US bank account. I had to have my name on it because she wanted to have a place to deposit her American dollars." And yeah, like I really cared about her. I still really care about her. And Amani goes, "Well, let me explain to you where we're at. Okay. We're here to marry her. Okay. Married. We want to get married. That's how serious we are." And he goes, "Okay. Yeah, I thought when we were together, like we would get married, but I got to be honest, like I kind of sabotaged it because I met her kids and then I got cold feet. I got a little scared. And, I met her in the club and, and you knew her as Brenda." What? Everything is a shock. It's so
Also, it
dramatic.
gets dark really fast, did you notice, like, in one shot, it's light
Yes.
out, the next shot is dark out.
Yes. And they're like, "What? Her name is Brenda?" And he goes, "Well, I mean, that's what's on her ID." And they're like, "What? What the fuck?" And Matt goes, "You mean she has like an alias?" And Ray goes,
Brenda
"Yeah."
Gate.
Ray's like, "Yeah, I don't fucking know. Ani's probably like her stage name. Like, I don't know." So Amani goes, "Well, we were planning to propose to her. Like, that's why we are here to apply for the K1 visa." Like, and he goes, "Oh, really? You guys are really serious, huh?" And she goes, "Yeah." Like, we would have to get divorced and he would have to marry her. Like, we are the most serious people you've ever met in your life, 10 times more serious than you.
Like,
And
there's no competition, he is not with her anymore. He is bringing a level 2
yeah,
aggressive energy. They are
yes,
bringing a 14 for
yes.
no reason at this poor guy.
And Amani goes, "Yeah, so that was the deal." And Ray goes, "Oh, okay." And "Yeah, oh, so you guys would get divorced and then, like, she would be divorced," and like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, she told you she was married before." They go, "Yeah, yeah, we knew that. We already knew that. We knew she was married. We knew that. Yeah, yeah, we
He
knew
tells us everything except nothing
everything."
at all.
And he goes, "Okay, but her divorce is not final because, like, when she and I talked about getting engaged, her divorce wasn't final." Amani, I think it's gonna turn into an SNL skit where she's like, "What?" Her head just pops off.
Yeah.
She's so dramatic. And Amani goes, "I don't even know her. We were gonna marry her, and she's lied about everything."
And her name
So,
is Brenda. What kind of name is Brenda? Let's be real, like, did they even know anything about her? Like, is this a did you know her Starbucks order? Did you know her middle name? Who is her favorite Golden Girl? Like, did you know anything about her? And now you're mad that you didn't know what her real name was and she uses a stage name. Okay. She's still married. It's fine.
Amani goes, "I mean, would it be okay if I called her and invite her here?" And he goes, "Sure, I don't care." Talking head, Ray goes, I don't know how Ani's going to feel about me revealing these secrets. Maybe she was trying to hide. I don't know. But you know me. You know me. I'm just good old Ray. I'm a truth teller. So meanwhile, she's called and she's like, hi, babe. Do you want to come to dinner? And she's like, okay, be right there. I was like, because she's literally sitting in the production van. So
Yes.
she comes up. And as she walks up, Amani and Matt, with complete smiles on their face, go, hi, Brenda.
Like, but
She,
they didn't even give I felt like this was so staged poorly because they should have given Ani a moment to react to them being there with Ray because she
mhm,
didn't know that they were supposed to be there, that they had met with Ray,
yeah.
right? But then so did we even get a reaction shot of her being like, "What is why are they with
What's he
Ray?"
here? Yeah.
Yeah.
So next week on, this is so funny. So Joan says she needs to get her wedding dress altered. Um, and and Greg's mom's like, okay, I guess I could drive you. So she goes, we should do things together. So they go in the car and the mom says, so you don't want me to go in with you? And she goes, well, I'll be on the phone with my family. So, and then she gets out to the alterations place and in the car, the mom goes, I felt hurt, but there's always payback. And drives off.
Evil laugh, like an evil villain. What but that was rude. You're having her drive you to your
Yeah.
dress appointment, and she's your future mother-in-law, and you're gonna make her wait out in the car or, like,
Yeah. I mean, you could be
circle
on the
the
phone with your
block?
family, but she could still be sitting there.
Yeah, don't you I that was
Yeah.
Joan, that was a big mess up. You've unearthed the real Lucille who
I
has been
I
living underneath.
also want to say something controversial. I think Joan and Lucille look alike. When they were sitting in the car side by side, I understand that one is black and one is white, okay? I'm not
Yeah,
stupid, but their faces look alike. They for sure have the same nose.
that's interesting because if any man is going to seek out a woman that reminds him of his mother, it's going
Mhm.
to be Gregory.
Yes. So I just
Okay,
want other
I'm gonna
people to
look
look at
next
that.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When they're side by side in the car, you can really see it.
okay.
So, Sarper goes to see Dan at his castle, and he's like, "This is literally a castle. It's so ugly. It's such an ugly castle
Where is
house."
that? It looks like this castle that is in LA that is actually a mini golf course. But on the outside, it look and I think they maybe have paintball too, but, like, it looks like a castle on the outside. Where does he live that it's a castle? I've
I
lived in
don't
LA
know.
for 20 plus years. I've never seen this castle, but
Well, you've
whatever.
never seen Rob's apartment either, so, I mean,
No,
there's
mm-mm.
places you haven't been to. We'll have to take
Yeah,
a like, a screenshot, and we'll see if we can get the address for it.
yeah.
So Sarper goes to see Dan at his castle, and he says, "All I want is respect." And Dan goes, "You think you're only bad boy here?" And Sarper is wearing another one of those terrible American flag T-shirts that he bought at the airport,
Yeah.
and he says, "Well, Shekinah did indicate one time that she kissed you or something," and Dan says, "Or maybe more."
Oh
I just
god.
hope that these 2 guys just, like, break into a fist fight, but then they're both like, "Oh, don't mess up my hair."
Exactly.
Um, so Mina says she's eaten so much since she's been in the United States, now her dress doesn't fit.
Oh,
And she's, like, crying about it, and her sister's like, "Don't cry about it, just put it on." And so she's trying it on and she's crying, but I think she's at the alterations place to maybe get it fixed.
I that made me sad because
Yeah, we're sorry
maybe
for
she
her.
my dad said maybe she's pregnant again because I was watching with my parents. And I said, "No, I think it's just because everyone that comes to America gains weight, like,
Yeah,
that's an ongoing thing on the show, but
yeah. I
maybe
think
she
that's
is
why
preg."
Joan has to go get her dress altered.
Yeah.
Same, same. So Ani, walks up and she sits down, she says to Ray, she goes, "Did you tell them my name?" And he says, "Yeah." And then she says to Ray, she goes, "I don't even know why the fuck you're here."
"Go back to the tower so the villagers can chase you with torches, you ugly hunchback ogre."
I can really we're almost done now, I'm
Poor Ray.
crying.
Ray was
Poor
done so
Ray.
dirty by this show.
Oh my god. I have to tell you, he looks so much like somebody that I know. that in my mind, I don't see him
You
as
get
like
somebody that you can actually look at in the eyes without
yeah,
your
that I
eyes
like I
bleeding.
go to dinner and I'm friends with. Yes, yes.
You can eat
Uh,
in front of them.
yes, he doesn't offend me with his looks at all. So, Ani says, "Maybe I was just protecting myself," until she's crying. So whatever, Brenda is a stage name, Ani is a stage name, who gives a shit? So
The fact that she's still married is, a bigger thing because they were allegedly, as they say, planning on divorcing so they could be with her.
no,
So
they're not. No, they're
they're
not.
not, but, like,
No.
if they were, if this was real and she's still legally married, so it doesn't matter, and they would get
Yeah,
divorced and she would still be legally married, that would be a disaster.
yeah. So, Sean is doing some lady's hair and they talk about like he's like, "Yeah, Aaliyah is getting more interested in the surgeries, and I don't know how I feel about that." And this lady whose hair he's doing says, "If Aaliyah gets bottom surgery, would you go through with the marriage today?" And he's like, "Oh," he looks off into the distance.
Oh
Um,
god.
we see Stevie and Maddie's bachelorette party. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're doing bachelorette party in New Orleans, you're going to see some shit.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
your eyeballs will be burned. I did go to my cousin Paige had her bachelorette party in New Orleans, and there were things I could never unsee.
Yeah.
And never again, never again. I hate New Orleans. No, I don't hate New Orleans. I take that back. I hate Vegas. I don't hate New Orleans. New Orleans has
They're
lots
both
and lots.
rough for
New Orleans has lots of beautiful
yeah.
areas. Vegas, I haven't seen any, but maybe there are some. Don't come at me. Okay. Um,
You have to be in the right state of mind, in a Vegas state of mind to enjoy
I
Vegas.
I think the Vegas situation is because I've only been in the casino strip area.
Yeah.
I've
There's
never been to
another area that Katie really loves that is, like, way more chill and fun, and so
mhm.
she it's not the clubbing and the bar, it's, like, way she likes it.
I know she does. I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
Also, New Orleans has some fun stuff. Yeah, you could there's, like, ghost tours and
you don't have to go to Bourbon Street.
architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're at a burlesque show or just a stripper show, just one of the two. It says burlesque, but there is a lady on the stage that
But,
is
like, did he
whipping her
know? I
boobs in a
feel
circle.
I feel b like, did he kn he knew, right, that there were gonna be boobs, but, like, did he fully consent to be there and then, like, thought he could handle it? I feel bad.
I
This
feel
is
bad
such
for
a
him
bad s
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a girl there that's stripping and literally whipping her boobs in a circle. Look really painful.
It
And
looked my boobs hurt.
yeah, it's like, ooh, no. But
They're
talent,
stretched. They're not supposed to be that elastic.
talented nonetheless. And he's upset and he walks out and she's like, I hope he's okay. And he says,
I hope she goes after him
I
or
hope she
someone
does
goes
too.
after him.
I'm sure she will. But he is saying outside in his talking head, like, I think I'm right. I think this means she's bi because she doesn't mind watching this, you know?
But
So
there's a million other women that are there too. Are they all gay?
he doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand strip club culture. Um, he would never get along with Jovi. They could never be
Oh
friends.
my god.
Jovi's like, my man, let me give you a lesson. Come with me and let me teach you my ways of the strip club.
Yeah. Also, I think she might be bi, and I think that
Who cares?
I think who cares? He doesn't think who cares. I think she might be waiting until he spends more time in America and then becomes more open to the idea, and then she'll tell him, but they'll already be married by then, and then he'll be really, really mad.
Then he says he'll feel trapped. That's his thing. He,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to feel trapped.
Catfished. Yeah.
No, he's not. Yeah, I think they're fine. I think everything's fine. Okay, everything's fine. And that's it, Kimberly. That's our episode. Um,
I enjoyed it.
it was a pretty good episode. I gotta say, I did
Sarper
watch it.
stand-up comedy? Come on.
I
Horrible
could
stand-up comedy?
I could live
Crickets?
without it. I will tell you that because I'm fully watching every single minute of the Karen retrial, which I currently have on another screen paused. Um, I when it was because I'd already watched it last night. So when it was your couples that you cover on, I was
Yeah.
fast forwarding them on the TV and watching the Karen retrial at the same time.
I love it. Well, when Sarper was doing his stand-up, I did go like this because I got so uncomfortable and I couldn't watch it. I literally could not watch it. It made me the secondhand embarrassment, like, was so real, but he doesn't seem to feel it. He doesn't seem
No,
to
but
feel embarrassed.
what's funny about his stand-up is while he's doing it, he's smiling and laughing at his own jokes. It's like
Yeah.
he's playing a character of what he's seen a stand-up comedian do,
Right.
right? So he's like, "Bitches, am I right?"
Yeah.
With a big smile on his face, like, "My dick controls me, am I right?" So funny. He keeps this huge smile on his face like he thinks he's supposed to laugh at his own jokes. I don't know.
And then
I
you
don't
got, like, a couple of those uncomfortable laughs from the audience where they felt bad. It was like
Uh-huh.
pity, like, "Ha
Yeah.
ha, ha ha."
I think being a stand-up comedian is probably the hardest job in the world. I could
I
never.
will say listen, if those friends, the friend that has the cheekbones
Mhm,
and his gal
mhm.
and Shekinah had actually laughed vocally, Sarper would not have ever known that the whole audience wasn't laughing. Like, they could have done their part better as supportive friends. They did not even laugh. Shekinah started whispering about him to her friend. She was like, "He's gonna do the whole thing about his dick."
She did say that he had written a 2-hour stand-up comedy act that was inappropriate. Like, 2-hour comedy? We don't even get that on Netflix. My god,
I
that's a
know.
long comedy special. Jeez.
He's prepared for his Netflix in case there's, like, a agent in the audience. He's
Right,
ready.
right. Yeah, it's new talent night at the Chuckle Factory. Um, okay, so this week on A Date with Dateline, you will be covering the Coburger episode that was on Dateline this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, wow.
That's me trying to be funny when it's so sad. It's
It's
just so it's
so
not a case. It's honestly a case that we would normally skip if it wasn't so famous, but
yeah.
people like to hear about it, so we do it because we
The
are
the
whores.
whole the whole background of him arriving to in that PhD program and him trying to, like, go to parties and act normal, and it just reminds
Wait,
me of,
that
like,
was
Steve Buscemi, like, "Hello, fellow teenagers, let me see how I can be cool," and he has autism spectrum disorder, which accounts for a lot of his, social awkwardness,
yeah,
doesn't excuse you for being a serial killer,
right.
um,
No.
but I think that all that part kinda made me a little, like, sad, like, oh. But I think
Yeah,
before he even came to he was planning to do something. He had already
yeah,
bought the knife and everything.
yeah. And I think yeah, and I think he probably would have done it again if they hadn't caught him. So,
Absolutely.
'cause I think he really
Absolutely.
liked it. I
Yeah,
think he you know, but that I agree, the stuff at the pool party was so fascinating to me, like, it would have been the most awkward party to be at, and I would have been sitting, like, taking notes because I love, like, a awkward gossip party, like, where we can rehash after and be like, "Did you
yes.
see that thing? Did you see that? It was so
Yeah.
awkward."
It was so awkward, I felt so bad for him.
I know, I felt really bad for him, but then also I was very uncomfortable.
And also, I'm like, "Is he gonna kill me later?" Yeah,
Exactly.
it
Yeah,
turns out he did kill some
yeah,
people,
yeah.
allegedly. Well, I am following along with that a lot, with Emily Baker and also Jody Weber on so when the full trial starts, I'll be Emily Bakering it every day, just like I'm doing with Karen Reed.
I love it.
I don't have anything else to do. I think I just spend my time watching trials all
Katie
day,
says she
so
does it too, and I'm like, "When are you working on our podcast?" And I don't know how people have time to watch these, and you're, like, one of the busiest people I know, so I don't even understand. Do you just have it on, like, running on your phone at all times?
Well, like, I
Like
took the dogs on a walk, and I had it on my phone on YouTube,
yeah.
and then I had my headphones in, so I was listening, and then, also, like, making calls, like, I had to call to, like,
Mhm.
refill the dog's medicines and make John a haircut appoint like, I'm doing that also, but it pauses, and then because Emily Baker, the way she does it, she talks so much during it, she pauses and talks and explains things, and
Uh-huh.
then she's able to, when there's lulls, like a sidebar or something, she's like, "I'm gonna zoom past this," and so she zooms, and so she's it's like a DVR. But
Gotcha.
still for today, I still have 2 hours left, but they'll be
Oh my god.
because I just pause it. And then when they go to lunch, I'm able to zoop, go past that 10 minutes. I can go past it because I'm
Listen,
behind.
I'm not judging at all. Like, I have watched so many full series
Yeah.
since 2025 started. And
Yeah.
last year I watched all a million seasons of all the Chicago shows on
Yeah, so
NBC.
my daughter
So,
loves
like,
those
I'm
too.
not judging, I'm watching crap, but, it's impressive.
Yeah, well, I'm very interested in it. I'm
I
very,
know,
very
and,
interested in it.
so many other people too
Yeah.
are too. I just get very overwhelmed, and I'll just wait for Dateline to do their story. I feel like they'll tell me what I need to know, and then Katie will tell me the rest.
Yeah, I mean, the Karen Reed trial is
She
a
loves Emily D. Baker.
well,
Katie's obsessed with Emily D. Baker.
I love I this trial is specifically hard because there are so many elements and so many people
Yeah.
that the Karen Reed maybe hitting him with the car is so secondary to the big
Mhm.
story of what happened that night. Um,
Mhm.
and, I don't think she hit him with her car. I don't.
Yeah.
I do think everybody was shit-faced drunk,
Mhm.
drinking and driving and all that, and so you have to kind
Yeah.
of factor that in, and then all of the one trooper, Michael Proctor got dismissed, like he's got fired from his job.
Yeah.
And then there's another couple of, that they think may flip because this one guy is, like, very close to retirement, and, like, he's gonna lose his pension, and he's worked for 35 years.
Uh-huh.
And then the boss of all of them was on the stand today, and he's just like, "No, he told me he'd never met him before, so I believed him." It's like, "No, their kids were on soccer teams together, they socialized together, they went on family
Yeah.
vacations together." He's like, "He told me he'd never met him, so I believed him." And then he allowed
I think
to be interviewed. I mean, there's so much the throwing away of the cell phones and
oh,
all the 45 minutes of missing video and the exact time when you need it, all
yeah.
these voicemails and butt dials. And Jen McCabe
It's
was on
crazy.
the stand, and they looked at her phone, and the IT expert came on and said, when you get somebody's phone, you can only pull back in the call log if they've deleted it or not. You can only pull the call log the last 200 calls. How long would it take on your phone to pull up 200 calls? For me, it might be like a year.
I was gonna say at least yeah, I was gonna say a year. If that's including spam calls that I get. Like,
No,
if it's calls that I have placed,
outgoing,
5 years. 5 years.
3 days. She made 200 calls in 3 days.
That's weird.
Yeah. Who's she calling?
I don't understand.
She's calling because they're like, "So she could have made more than 200." They're like, "200 is all we can get. That's the limit." And it was with a 3-day time frame. So, most people, if you're gonna say, "I'm gonna pull 200 calls," well, that's gonna be 2 years worth of calls, but they're like, and Emily Baker's like, we're just gonna go past that?" Like, she's like, "It's gonna be brought back up again," because she is the Gladys Kravitz of the whole thing. She's constantly talking to people and trying to influence everything.
Mhm.
She's got her
Yeah.
hands in every pot. And when they
Yeah.
said 200 calls in 3 days, I went and looked. I was like, "Oh, I had 16 calls in 3 days."
Yeah.
And this is because I
That's
was traveling. So I was, like, calling my family and stuff.
it's so weird. And also, like, the thing with his Fitbit or whatever saying, he went up flights of stairs after
Mhm,
and, like,
mhm.
took this many steps after he was supposedly dead already, and, like,
Yeah,
that's
supposedly hit
weird,
by the
and, like
car, and they were like, "Oh,
and the
he
dog. There's just
where's the
it's so
dog?
weird. I
The
think
dog is
just
gone.
people what's
The
hard
dog
for
is gone."
people to understand is that, like, no one's talked, and they think if it has to be a conspiracy, it has to be, like, 100 people involved. But Katie thinks it could be, like, 3 people that are involved in this conspiracy, and it's not that hard for 3 people to not talk. And
Yeah, and
it's
just
only been a
lied to
couple
all the other
years.
people, and all the other
They
people
might
are like, "Well, these are our friends, and we believe them," you know?
And you already have a department where, like, that woman was killed, that young woman who was,
Yep.
like, abused for
Mhm,
many years and then pregnant and murdered, like, and
mhm.
there was so much cover up there. So you already have a department that's being looked at for, like, multiple
Yeah.
shadiness investigation stuff. So
Yes, yes. It's
it's not
it's
that
wild.
hard for me to
That's
believe.
why it is so with the Brian Koberger one, at the very least, it'll be easier to follow
Yeah,
because we really will be tracking what one person did.
totally.
The the 12 hours before won't really matter so much. It'll only matter what he did. It won't
Yeah,
matter. And even if there was only those 4 people to track, of which there were 6 people in the house, even if there's those 4 people to track, that would be easier than with the Karen Reed where there's like 10 people.
totally.
And then they're like the 21-year-olds come into play, and then everybody's drinking and driving, and it's snowing, and then it's
Right.
not, and
The
it's great.
son of the homeowner that was, like,
Mhm.
had
He
issues
he's like
and
a hothead, you would say. Mhm.
uh-huh, yeah.
And where's the dog?
Wow.
Where's the dog?
Where that poor dog rehomed that dog
Mhm. Where's the
could
dog?
be. Yeah.
And they had this one friend on the stand who said she'd been to their house hundreds of times over the years. She was a good friend of the son. She's like, "Yeah, like, a lot my whole life I've been going to their house." It's like, "Have you ever met their dog?" And she said, "Well, I knew they had a dog." She's gone to their house as a friend of the high school student and had never seen the dog. Can you imagine how many times your friends go to your house when you're in high school and to have never seen your dog? Never, not
Because they
once.
kept it locked up somewhere?
Because it didn't interact well with
Because
people.
right.
And
Because they had
then
trained it to be a killing machine.
mhm, right. And so when, Jen McCabe, who was the homeowner's sister, that when everybody's screaming on the lawn and all this stuff, and she's like, "I don't know, my sister, my brother-in-law didn't wake up." And she went in the house,
Yeah, that's oh my
front
god, the
door was
fact
unlocked, and the dog is not there. The dog is gone. Dog was already gone. Dog was gone that night. Gone. Something happened with
the
the dog.
weird
Somebody took the
honestly,
dog.
when you say, like, there's someone dead on the lawn and there's police cars
And
everywhere
people
and
are
it's
screaming.
chaos out
Yeah.
front, people are screaming, and the homeowner who is in law enforcement doesn't come outside,
Never wakes up according to them. Never woke up. And so
that
she just went in the house, the front door was unlocked. That's another thing. People are like, a cop doesn't leave his front door unlocked at night. I don't care how
yeah,
drunk you are.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
there's no way he's not waking up to this chaos and coming outside because he is law enforcement.
right, to be like,
He
"What's
just
happening on my front
ignores the
lawn?"
active crime scene on
On
his
his
front
front
lawn.
yard, with, like, 3
Yeah,
fire trucks, 2 ambulances, people
yeah, he just
screaming,
yeah,
screaming on the front lawn, screaming.
yeah. No, he did yeah. He's
But
like, "It
here
doesn't concern me. I'm
mm-mm.
off duty." What? Like, I don't
And
understand.
he said the reason his
So
phone
shady.
like, his phone butt dialed people because he said 'cause they were making calls all
He was
night, he
having
and his wife.
sex.
He said
Right,
he was
yeah.
having sex. I was like, "Hmm." They were like, "Never in the history of time has one town been so plagued by butt dials." It's like
I know.
every person's phone is constantly butt dialing because they won't admit that they talk to each other on the phone.
Yeah.
They're
Uh-huh.
like, "Well, it was like a 5 minutes, so why didn't the voicemail pick up and just have, like" you could hear what was the voicemail picks up. Happens with my mother twice a week. She'll call me and I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Mom, mom,"
Oh, yeah.
or "Oh,
Yeah.
my mom left me a voicemail," and it's just her in the car. It's like, we were
Yes, I
driving.
get those
Yes.
all the time from my
Yeah.
parents. Yes. Not from people in their, like, 40s, generally. It's generally my mom
So
or
many
my
butt
dad doing
dials.
it.
Of those
So many
200
butt
calls, how
dials.
many were butt dials? I don't know.
Yeah.
106? Not sure.
Yeah, and I am my phone is pretty much dying and I need a new one. So my plan is to drive to a military base and
Yes.
put part of the phone in one trash dumpster and
Yep.
then put part of the other phone and like the battery and the SIM card and stuff like in the other one.
Yeah, and then
And
probably you
then
should
go get
also
my new phone.
yeah, then you should take another part out and, like, throw it in some water because he put it in,
That
like, one
seems
one phone in 3 different places because when you're a police officer and you're involved in an
that's
investigation, it
what
is
you
time to
do.
get a new phone. You should just destroy your phone instead of just, I don't
Yeah.
know, trading it in or
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we now talked about the Karen Reed trial for 20 minutes.
Totally normal. Yeah.
Totally normal. Everybody follow Kimberly and Katie. It's a date with Dateline is their podcast. That's their Instagram is
Yeah.
Dateline. They're covering, like we just talked about, and then we got on the Karen Reed, the Dateline this week that was about Brian Koberger. So I'm very interested to listen to that. Um, I was listening to the sweet, sweet sounds of Kimberly and Katie on the plane this morning because it relaxes me and helps me take a little nap.
Oh, thank
Just
you.
because
I
it's your
do the same with
voices.
you.
It's your
Oh,
voices, and it's like, "Oh, I love listening to my
that's
fans."
nice because
Yeah.
when I was looking at, your reviews on, uh, Apple
Mm.
Podcasts
Yeah.
after we were talking about it last week,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have looked because
No.
a lot of them mentioned me,
Mhm.
and, one of them was very mean.
About you?
Um,
Come on,
apparently
guys.
I apparently I have the worst lisp that they have ever heard, and it's getting worse. And it is unbearable to listen to. And they fast forward when I'm talking or just skip the episode. And how dare I make fun of Gino's voice when I have this voice? Guys, I already know my voice isn't that great. I'm already self-conscious. You don't have to tell
W
me.
You don't have a lisp. What are we talking about?
Apparently, I have a horrible lisp, and it's getting worse.
Well, this is news to me. News to me. You guys, if you don't
I'm
have
mad at my
anything nice to
parents.
say, just don't
They
say
should have sent
anything
me
at
to speech
all.
therapy.
No. You guys, please go on Pink Shade Apple Reviews and just give a 5-star and say something nice, okay? And by
Yeah,
the way, if you don't like it, don't listen. I'm sorry.
exactly.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Well, at least it didn't make you cry like it made Keisha cry on our
No,
last
I
episode,
laughed
so
it off.
okay, good.
I laughed it I cried
Yeah.
inside, and then I laughed it off.
Yeah. There were a couple of reviews on there about me on my own show saying that I talk too much. It's my own
How
show,
dare
and
you?
I'm talking because it's a podcast. So, sorry. Sorry about it, guys.
Eh,
Kate Casey will be on Thursday to talk about Pop and Bravo, and Amy and I
that
this
should be
weekend are
fun.
yeah, Amy and I this weekend are covering that documentary called Deadly American Marriage.
Oh, yeah, someone else said
Mm,
I need to watch that.
yeah,
Have you
that's on
watched it yet?
Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but we're going to cover it for this weekend. And then the next week, we will have the TLC Us Weekly Party to talk about because we won't have an episode next weekend either because The Hunt for Love is coming. That's what the party's for. Also,
Yeah.
circle back to the first minute of this show. Um, consider if you want to come to New York and let me know.
Okay.
Get you on the list. All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you, Kimberly, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.